Hey Algebra 2, today we're going to discuss Chapter 3.5, Graphing Linear Equations in 3 Variables. So since we're discussing 3 variables, we need to be in 3 dimensions. So this is your 3-dimensional coordinate system. Notice that the XY coordinate plane is horizontal. So see here we have the x-axis and the y-axis. This is actually horizontal. So think of this as the floor of the room. And then the xz and the YZ axes, or planes, would both be walls. Okay? So the Z-axis is vertical, so it's like the corner of your room. And so in fact now we have 8 octants instead of 4 quadrants. So this would be the first octant. It's where everything is positive. And then we'd have 1 over here, back here, and then 4 again on the bottom. So when you graph in 3D, it's a little skewed, kind of. So looking here, if we graph the point 2, 3, 5, so you're going to start at the origin. You always start at the origin. So here we're at the origin. And you're going to come out 2 on the x-axis. Then you're going to look kind of to see how the y-axis is segmented. And you're going to come over about 3 of those. So 3 of those. And then you're going to go up about the same, 4, 5, and that's where you're going to end. Notice, though, that where we ended is not necessarily at the same height as that 5 because you're looking at it at an angle. Okay, so it's angled down a little bit. It should be the same angle kind of as this is down here. So let me try to graph a couple so you can see what it looks like. Alright, so I'm going to do this with the little laser pointer so that you can see where I'm going. So you're going to start at the origin. I'm going to go out 3 on the x-axis. So this is the positive x, this is the positive y, and this is the positive z. So out towards you is the positive x, over to the right is the positive y, and up is the positive z. So starting from the origin, I'm going to come out 3, 1, 2, 3. Then I'm going to go left 1. So I'm just going to go left, what would be equivalent to kind of that space there. I'm going to go left 1. And then I'm going to go down 5 from where I am. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's my spot. Okay, so let's try again. This one, starting at the origin, I'm actually going to go back 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Went back 5. I'm going to go right 3, so 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to go up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's our spot. Okay. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to graph. Okay, so we're going to write linear equations in 3 variables. So they're going to look like ax plus by plus cz equals d. So one thing, a, b, and c can't all be 0. Then you don't have any variables at all. And instead of an ordered pair being a solution, now our ordered triples are going to be our solution. Okay? And when you graph these actually graph a plane. Okay? But we're not going to graph the whole plane. We're only going to graph part of the plane. So we want to graph 3x minus 12y plus 5z equals 30. We're going to graph it using our intercepts. So this plane most likely, doesn't have to, but most likely is going to cross through all 3 axes, and I want to figure out where. So how do you find an x-intercept? You make everything else be 0. So if y is 0 and z is 0, you're going to get 3x equals 30. So x equals 10. That's my x-intercept. So my x-axis, I'm going to come out to 10. And then I'm going to do my y-intercept, and if I have my y-intercept, I'm going to make x and z both be 0. So I'm going to have negative 12y equals 30. So y equals negative 2.5. So on the y-axis, I'm going to go negative 2.5, put you right there. And then on the z-axis, so the z-intercept, we're going to make x and y both be 0. So we're going to have 5z equals 30, so we're going to get z equals 6. So on the z-axis, I'm going to go up to 6. Now, you really should have a straight edge. You're going to connect the dots here. Now, it should form a triangle. Sometimes it's a very narrow triangle. So in this case, it's a very narrow triangle, and you're going to shade in the triangle. Now, because this is a very narrow triangle, what that really means is that you're looking at it very tilted like. So the plane is actually looking something like this, that there's your x-axis, sorry, that's your z. It's looking something like where it's very tilted. In class, I have an app on my iPad, and I will show you more what that looks like. But so the last thing you're going to do is you're going to write functions in two variables. So instead of f of x, it's going to be f of xy. Okay? And to do this, you're going to solve for z, and then you're going to replace z with f of xy. So if you get z equals something, you're going to replace the z with f of xy, which does mean that on this side over here, there should be x and a y. There doesn't have to be, but we're going to have an x and a y over there. So if I give you the same function that we graphed earlier, and I want you to write it as a function of x and y. So we're going to get z by itself. So let's subtract x and add y here. So 5z equals negative 3x plus 12y plus 30. And we're going to divide by 5. And so z equals negative 3/5 x plus 12/5 y plus 6. So then I'm going to change z to be f of xy, because this is a function of these two variables. Alright, so there is my function. And then if I want to evaluate it and I want to find f of negative 2, then I'm just going to plug in those numbers. So I can plug in negative 2 for x and 2 for y. And I'm going to get 6/5 plus 24/5. I'm going to go ahead and make this into fifths. Plus 30/5 looks to be 60/5, which is 12. Alright, so I know this is some new stuff, so let me know if you have questions, and I'll see you in class. Have a good day.